today. So, there was a request for true crime, and I will do true crime. Well, okay. So, I'm gonna do true crime, but I don't want to get demonetized or anything like that. So, it's less of a crime and more of an occurrence, and I'll explain that in a second. So, where I'm going to be reading to today is about the Kentucky meat shower of 1876. Now, you might be wondering what this is, and I'll get to it in a second. And for the record, I'm going to read the Wikipedia page to you, as well as a New York Times article, or excerpt from the New York Times. And I'll give you a brief explanation on why I know about the Kentucky meat shower. So, without further ado, what is the Kentucky meat shower, you may ask? Well, the Kentucky meat shower was an incident occurring for a period of several minutes between 11 a.m. and 12 p.m. on March 3rd, 1876, where what appeared to be chunks of red meat fell from the sky. Thumbnail time. Fell from the sky in a 100 by 50 yard, 90 by 45 meter area near Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky. Sorry, quick interruption. Okay, we're good. Alright. I'm not gonna edit it out because you guys can see the interruptions. It's all good. Okay. There exists several explanations, from blood rain to vulture ejecta, as to how this occurred and what the meat was. Although the exact type of meat was never identified, various reports suggested it was beef, lamb, deer, bear, horse, or possibly human. Despite various theories, the exact cause of the Kentucky meat shower remains a subject of speculation and mystery. For a couple facts, it occurred on March 3rd, 1876. It was from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. It occurred for a couple minutes in Bath County, Kentucky, USA. And the cause was inconclusive, possibly regurgitating vultures, but they don't know. So, here's a more in-depth explanation of what happened. On March 3rd, 1876, a farmer's wife, Mrs. Crouch, was making a soup on her porch when she reported seeing a piece of meat fall from the sky. She said she was 40 steps from her house when the meat started to slap the ground. Mrs. Crouch and her husband believed the event was a sign from God. The phenomenon was covered by Scientific American, the New York Times, and other publications. Most of the pieces of the meat were approximately 2 by 2 inches or 5 by 5 centimeters. At least one was 4 by 4 inches, 10 by 10 centimeters. The meat appeared to be beef, but according to the first report in Scientific American, 2 men who tasted it judged it to be lamb or deer. Writing in the Sanitarian, Leopard Brandeis identified the substance as nostoc, a type of cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria. For reference, nostoc, also known as star jelly, troll's butter, spit of moon, fallen star, witch's butter, and witch's jelly, is the most common genus of cyanobacteria found in a variety of both aquatic and terrestrial environments that may form Okay. That may form colonies composed of filaments of maniliform cells. I got that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not the best at pronunciation, at least for the scientific things. Okay. Brandeis gave the meat sample to the Newark Scientific Association for further analysis, leading to a letter from Dr. Alan McLean Hamilton appearing in the medical record and stating that the meat had been identified as lung tissue from either a horse or a human infant. The structure of the organ in these two cases being almost identical. The composition of this sample was backed up by further analysis, with 2 samples of the meat being identified as lung tissue, 3 as muscle, and 2 as cartilage. Brandeis' nostoc theory relied on the fact that nostoc expands into a clear jelly-like mass when rain falls on it, often giving the sense that it was falling with the rain. Charles Fort noted in his first book, The Book of the Damned, that there had been no rain. Locals favored the explanation that the meat was vomited up by buzzards, who, as in their custom, seeing one of their companions disgorge himself, immediately followed suit. Dr. Louis T. Castibine presented this theory in the contemporaneous Louisville Medical News as the best explanation of the variety of meat. Vultures vomit as part of making a quick escape and also as a defensive method when threatened. Fort explained the flattened, dry appearance of the red meat chunks as the result of pressure and noted that 9 days later, on March 12, 1876, red corpuscles with a vegetable appearance fell over London, Kentucky. So, that is the wiki page on the Kentucky meat shower. Some external links. Weird history, Kentucky meat shower, the day it rained, mystery meat on YouTube. Dunning-Bryan, Skeptoid 653, the Great Kentucky Meat Shower, and Kentucky Meat Shower Archived, a 2014 episode of the American History comedy podcast, The Dollop. Now, I will read you an excerpt released in the New York Times regarding the meat shower. Flesh descending in a shower, an astounding phenomenon in Kentucky. Fresh meat like mutton or venison falling from a clear sky. Special dispatch to the New York Times. Louisville, March 9th. The Bath County News of this date says, on last Friday, a shower of meat fell near the house of Alan Crouch, who lives 2 or 3 miles from the Olympian Springs in the southern portion of the county, covering a strip of ground about 100 yards in length and 50 wide. Mrs. Crouch was out in the yard at the time, engaged in making soap, when meat, which looked like beef, began to fall around her. The sky was perfectly clear at the time, and she said it felt like large snowflakes. The pieces as a general thing not being much larger. One piece fell near her, which was 3 or 4 inches in square. Mr. Harrison Gill, whose veracity is unquestionable, and for whom we obtain the above facts, hearing of the occurrence, visited the locality the next day, and says he saw particles of meat sticking to the fences and scattered over the ground. The meat, when it first fell, appeared to be completely fresh. The correspondence of the Louisville Commercial, writing from Mount Sterling, corroborates the above and says that pieces of flesh were of various sizes and shapes, some of them being 2 inches square. 2 gentlemen who tasted the meat expressed their opinion that it was either mutton or venison. That's written in the New York Times, published March 10th, 1876. Now you may be asking, how did you come across this? Well, about last year, year I had to do a final history project on any piece of history that I wanted to, from, I want to say 14th century or 13th century to 2001 American history. So, among the many topics that I had picked out was one of them. That was one of them, Kentucky Meat Shower. The reason I didn't pick it is because there wasn't enough content. And so I actually went with the Great Molasses Flood, which I could talk about at a later date if you guys want. I actually know a lot about that still, like on hand. A lot of interesting stuff I learned. Anywho. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, evening, dawn, dusk, whatever time it is. I hope that satisfied the true crime desire. If not, I'll get to it. I'll look more into it. Let me know. Language videos, I'll get to those requests as well. I know it's been a while, but don't worry, I will. You guys are the best. Have a good rest of your day.